Cyrene Dellinger back here for another episode. We got our producer Kam here again today. How's it going, Kam?
It's going excellent. I can't wait to hear the rest of your story today.
Yes, today we are talking about Cyrene's real estate journey, part 2.
Before we get into that though, I know you've done a lot of mentoring and teaching, which I love that about you, and that you want to grow your team.
I do.
So
I need you guys.
Yes, call her if you are interested in joining a top-notch real estate team. Cyrene is the way to go. She will make sure that you are killer just like her.
Yep, I need you and you need me. It could be a very beneficial relationship, right?
So, yes, definitely. But I bring this up because I want you to give maybe someone that's new out there or even wants to go into real estate, give me a tip for a new realtor. What do you suggest for them?
Okay, the first thing I would suggest is never say realtor again.
Sorry, I know I say it all the time.
There's no A in realtor.
I know, and I spell it correctly. As you know, I write all this stuff out. But when I say it, I apologize. I'll work on that.
And if you're a new agent, pro tip, don't say realtor because you're not a realtor. You're a realtor. And
it's very slight though.
I know, but you know how many people say it, and a lot of real estate agents get super irked by it. Not me so much, but I'm just.
It's not your bugaboo.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
That's okay. Is that your tip?
No. Well, maybe.
No, give me another one. Give me a real one.
That makes it easy, right? Well, you know what? This is gonna seem like kind of hokey maybe to some of you, but my biggest tip would be what my mentor Wendy, shout out to you, Wendy Brown, what love you. What she told me when I first came into real estate was like, Wendy, how are you doing this? Like, how are you, how do you get clients? Like, what are you doing? Like, what's the most important thing? And she told me that my job was to always come from contribution, to go out and think about what kind of friends I was going to make that day, what needs they might have, and how I'm going to help them, and to just go out and help people, and that money would come. And I was like, okay.
If you build it, they will come.
Something like that. But she told me, just go out and help people, and the money will come. And I cannot tell you guys, how that advice was just gold. And not that I wouldn't have done that anyways, but just having that confirmation that if I did what I normally do, which is just be a good person, go out and help people, look for how you can help them, and then come from contribution. I have never had a hard time getting business because people know, they can tell, they can smell you a mile away if you are full of crap. And if you are only out for yourself and your own best interest. So my biggest tip would be don't think about the money. The money will come. You will get paid. Your job is to go out and help people in whichever facet they need help with in their real estate needs. And you'll never want for business. I promise you.
I love this tip. I think it was great. Because we really can incorporate that in a lot of different facets of different jobs. I mean,
or in life is general. Just don't be a jerk. Oh my gosh, imagine.
Don't be a jerk. It's my next tattoo.
I had a better word for it, but we're on the radio.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we have a voicemail too. You want to get to that before we start your story time telling?
Sure, since talking about myself isn't my favorite.
Oh, you fooled me. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Okay. You want me to read it or you want to read it?
You read it.
Okay. I want to sell my rental home because the market is good right now. It's been a roller coaster with COVID and I want to liquidate and move out of state. What is the process to inform my tenants? Do I have to pay a relocation fee? Thanks, Cyrene. Jim.
Okay, so hi, Jim. I hope you're listening today.
It's pretty relevant. I mean, you probably hear this a lot, correct?
Yes, and it also have relevant recent experience in this particular
episode.
Did we talk about that in the last episode?
No, not yet. We knew you became a landlord, but we don't know what happened. So I think that this is part of it. But
Jim.
let's tell Jim what's up.
All right. So there's a number of different things there. So, okay, it depends. Is your tenant paying? Are they under, when is their lease up? There's a bunch of different things you need to know. So if their lease isn't up yet, there's nothing you can do. You have to sell it with the tenant in place, which we can do. But if the lease isn't up yet, you can't really give them notice. Like, you can talk to them and be like, yo, I want to sell the house, blah, 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 and see if they're open to it, but you're probably going to scare them off. And you don't want to do that because you don't want them to just like stop paying rent or something. So some people get weird. They're like, oh, well, you want to sell the house? Well, my lease isn't up and now you want to sell the house. And like, anyway, so if they're not paying, you have a problem because they're not going to just get out. They're already not paying. So, and you can't just evict somebody, right?
Why? Can't you evict someone for non-payment?
Well, you can thank COVID for that.
Oh, so is that something that will change in the future? So there's a moratorium, right? Correct?
Yeah, supposedly it was up on June 15th, and I have not heard anything.
Okay, so we don't know exactly, but you're not penalized for not paying before. But usually, if you're not paying, you would be evicted.
Yes, you can evict if they're not paying. But let's just assume that this is a person whose lease is up, that they are paying, and that everything's in good standing. If they've been there a year or more, you need to give them a 60-day notice. If they've been there less than a year, you need to only give them a 30-day notice. And then they have, that time to vacate and find another property. The other thing you can do is, it depends on like where the house is, and if you don't want to deal with all that, some people will sell with the tenant in place. If you got a good tenant in there, they're paying rent. If this is a duplex or something, what does he say? Is it
Just
a condo
a
or rental home? It doesn't say. So it just depends. You might want to sell it with the tenant in there. That's possible. It's a little more complicated, but
certainly doable, correct?
yeah. Oh, we got you.
Okay.
But yeah. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I think we'll kind of circle back, I'm sure, when your story starts to evolve, because I know some of what had happened. So, we'll kind of revisit that in a little bit. Do you want to give us a quick recap of where we left off, to the point where we left off?
Sure. So I think where we left off was I had moved from my townhouse to a single family home that I was fixing up. So it was a light fixer. It needed to have some stuff done to it before we could move in. I rented out the townhouse, and then I had the tenant scheduled to move in. So this was the fun part, is I told my ex-husband, hey, we need to get this whole thing done in 2 weeks.
Wait, what whole thing? The remodel?
The remodel.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, B, I'm gonna kill you. And I'm like, no, I got this. So we had to, because I had the tenants that were going to move into the townhouse. So I had to get out, right? So the remodel had to be done in time. So I wanted a whole new kitchen. I needed a whole new kitchen. I wanted a wall knocked out. And then I wanted to scrape all the ceilings, refinish the floors, and put new vanities in the bathrooms.
Seems like quite a lot for 2 weeks.
I know. I made it happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was the most stressful 2 weeks ever, and I mean, it's funny because I'm divorced now, but I wasn't then, and I'm surprised that it didn't. That wasn't the end there.
It didn't cause the divorce.
Yeah, it should have been the end, but it wasn't. So he hung in there for a while. God bless you, Mike. So, okay. So we are doing the remodel. I got the place rented out.
So how was it finding tenants?
It was interesting and difficult, but I did find a family who they didn't have any credit. So I mean, when you look for a tenant, you want to run credit. You want to see paycheck stubs, bank statements, proof that they can make the payments. Well, these particular tenants just didn't have credit. They had no credit history, and so
did they have work history, a way to pay for the rent?
Yes, they were business owners. So I looked at their pay stubs, and I could see I looked at their bank statements, and I could see that they had, regular deposits, had more than enough money. And I could also see the transfers that had gone out to the prior landlord, and they were paying every month on time.
Okay.
So they had showed me 12 months. I asked for 12 months of history. So they showed me that. Everything looked good. So they were a nice family, and they were a nice family at the time.
Okay. So that was a check off the list, getting tenants in, which is a big check. I think that it's very stressful.
And they were also willing to pay what I wanted them to pay.
Okay. That's even better. So, and then you said you added an ADU to the unit, to the single family home that you just bought in the same kind of area in which the townhouse was, correct?
Well, no. So the single family home, we did that work to it and then we moved in.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do the ADU till much later.
Oh, okay.
So at
Got it.
first, that part of the house, so it had a garage that had been converted into like a rec room many years ago, like in the 50s. Like, no, I think it was probably in the 60s or something. But it was like permitted as a rec room, as a garage. So that was our master bedroom for a couple years until I decided. And now during this time, the tenants are there, it's fine. But then a couple years later, I decided, you know what? We should be making money off of this. Let's turn the rec room into an ADU and we'll move into the house. The other one of the other rooms in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, was that yeah. So
Nightmare?
I made mistakes. I screwed up.
What happened?
I hired a contractor who was recommended to me by a team member at the time who was his father, and the team member at the time I thought was a great team member, but come to find out that he was like a con artist. And his dad started doing the work and like wanted the checks ahead of time and stuff, which should have been red flags for me. I mean, some of the stuff, yeah, I get it. Like, you need money to pay for the materials and stuff like that. Like, when you do construction, when they do construction, like, they do want, like, I think they can take 10% up front, but then they ask for, like, some as they go. But I hired a guy who, I didn't look him up.
Okay.
I just trusted the referral.
Right.
Don't do it, guys. Turns out he didn't even have a freaking contractor's license. It had been revoked because he didn't pay, and there were multiple lawsuits against him. He was in bankruptcy, and he was having people do the work there that like he was like doing this whole hustle where he would have another guy tell the guy that it was his job. Because if the guys knew that it was actually this person's job, they wouldn't have done the work.
Oh.
Because they're like, it's so-and-so's job. Because I remember I was there one day and I was saying, yeah, it's so-and-so's job. Did you talk to so-and-so? And he's like,
who?
We're going to just use his name. Screw it. His name was Carlos. So it's pretty generic. So, it could be any Carlos. But anyways, the guy's name was Carlos. And he's like, so this is Carlos's job? And I said, yeah. And he goes, what do you mean? And he threw his hat down on the ground and threw a whole fit. And he's like, basically, screw this, I'm out of here.
Oh, boy.
Walked off the job. And then the guy started demanding money from me after I had already paid the contractor.
Oh.
So anyways, all that happened. The guy didn't pull permits. He didn't do anything right. I ended up about $15,000 in the hole from that. It's $15,000 lesson. And
that stung, didn't it?
Yeah, well, that's also another pro tip for new realtors is that when you're new, if you don't join a team like mine by calling 1-800-440-7566, that's 1-800-440-7566. If you're not joining a good team like mine, when you have mistakes that you make, they cost you money. Like, I can help avoid you making those mistakes because I've already made a lot of them, but they, that's how we learn. I mean, and especially in real estate, what I found is that when you learn when you lose money. So,
what did you say? You're not a boss unless you take a loss?
You're not a boss unless you've never taken a loss. Yep.
I love that.
No. If you've never taken a loss, you're not a boss.
Okay, that makes sense.
That makes more sense,
Yeah.
Anyway, so then I hired my amazing friend and now business partner, for clarity's sake, to do the work. And he did things correctly, and he is still my business partner, and we've done a lot of stuff since then, and it was a good opportunity. Like, this is how we kind of like started bonding and everything, and now it's so deep we have a joint bank account. So
it's pretty close.
yeah.
You could say that it's pretty close then.
You could say it's getting kind of serious. So yeah. Anyway, they finished the work. It's a 1-bedroom ADU. I got it rented out for $1,700 a month.
Wow.
The mortgage on the property was $2,700, and so now
And you said in the last one it was 28, but that.
Well, now it's 27 because we refied.
Oh.
But.
So where can you live anywhere for $1,000 or $1,100 in Los Angeles? It's pretty much impossible.
Yeah, my ex is hooked up.
Yeah. So, okay. Now.
It's depressing.
No. Let's happy.
Should we lighten the mood?
Yes. Let's keep going. So then what? Did you do some flips? Like, okay, you're sitting in your high horse in this nice single family home. You have your tenants. Now what happens?
So, well, now I'm able to save some money, right? I got income rolling in from the both of the rentals, and I got referred to these people that wanted to sell their house by another agent. So another agent, hey, another agents, if you're out there and you need to refer clients, 1-800-440-7566. We take referrals, and those are, I think, some of my favorite deals because it feels good that other agents trusted us, and we're able to deliver. But an agent referred me a client who was trying to sell a 1-bedroom condo, and I went to the listing appointment and I said, I think I want to buy it.
Really?
And they were like, okay. And we put together a deal right there on the spot, and I bought it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you just knew, I guess?
I knew. I knew the price point. I knew how much I could rent it for. And now I rent that one out for $1,552 a month on Section 8.
Oh, that's a whole, we should do a whole show on Section 8 because I think that's a whole other category of rules and stuff to know about if you are a landlord or if you are a participant in the program.
Well, here's the thing with Section 8 that I think is like people don't realize that it's not that hard to have somebody on Section 8. It's actually like after the pandemic and all this stuff that's happened to landlords, honestly, I probably don't want to ever rent again to somebody who's not on Section 8.
Because it's guaranteed income, correct?
Because it's coming in regardless. But they have a split between the tenant. Like the tenant usually has some kind of responsibility. So, but even if the tenant doesn't pay, you will get some money.
Okay. I've heard of that. I used to, when I was living in Arizona during college, I was a leasing agent. So the building I was in, which was really nice and on a golf course, did actually take Section 8. So I'm somewhat familiar with it.
Yeah, and it's good. And then also the tenants don't want to lose their Section 8. Like it's hard to get on Section 8. So they're more likely to be, and they have more motivation to pay the rent.
Good.
It's not just going to ruin their credit and stuff. It's going to mess up, their Section
life.
8.
Yeah, definitely. So that was a fortunate event.
That was a good buy. Yeah, my payment on that one's about $800 a month, and I rent it out for $1,550.
Okay, that sounds great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I
like
right.
that one.
Then what?
Then COVID came, and the tenants in the townhouse stopped paying. I ended up getting a divorce. If we really want to get personal here, guys, jeez. And so I moved out and rented an apartment for the first time in 15 years or so.
But it is at the beach, so let's not feel too bad. I didn't say what beach, the beach.
Yes, I do not hate this apartment. I do not like people living above me though, and I don't like having, it's cool. Look, I'm grateful. My life, there's a lot of people out there who have suffered through this whole COVID, and I have been fortunate that, yeah, I've had some casualties, but.
Right, you made it through.
Yeah, so.
So how do you deal with tenants that aren't paying because of COVID? I can't even imagine what that's like.
There's nothing you can do. You're stuck. It's depressing. We're going into depression town again.
No, let's just dip our toe in and then quickly move away. So
I wish I could have quickly moved away from those people, but yeah, they didn't pay, and then they moved in more people into the house, and then they brought a dog in, and they were wrecking the house. But the worst part was, because I get it, okay? They owned a food truck business, and I get it that, there might be, some problems with their income because they couldn't have, restaurant folks, they took a huge hit.
Yeah, they were hit hard.
And I really feel for all the people out there that happened to. But the sad part was I would have been willing to work with them because I get it. But they, instead of being willing to work with me, they basically were like, screw you, moved in more people, changed the locks, and told me, good luck getting your money.
Ooh. See, communication is key, and I think that it would have been a lot different if they had just come to the table and said, hey, this is what's happening. How could I don't, we
just
feel
been
bad.
Decent humans, yeah,
Right.
that would have been cool.
But is that even legal to change the locks on your property?
It's not allowed, but there's nothing you can do about it because I can't just show up there and change the locks back. And then what? We're in a lock battle? Like, it just, you can't, they're not supposed to do that, and it's a violation of the lease, but.
And you couldn't evict because of a violation of the lease because of COVID?
Yes and no. It's more complicated than that, and it's kind of technical, I think, but the courts weren't even open.
True. So it has to go through a whole judicial process of eviction, and then the sheriff actually has to come out and serve the papers and get the people out.
Yes, I consulted 4 separate eviction attorneys who all told me I was screwed.
Okay, so what did you decide to do?
After them not paying for 8 months, I decided to put the house on the market at a $90,000 discount.
Okay, so we unleashed that property. We unloaded that, correct?
Well, it took me a while to get it sold, but somebody bought it sight unseen because the tenants wouldn't allow anybody to come in the house to look at it. So someone bought it sight unseen, and I sold it for $90,000 less than what it's worth.
Okay, but now
if you're not a boss, if you've never taken a loss, you're not a boss.
That's right. So you learned that one there too.
Yeah, that
But
hurt.
you're free from it. So it must feel good to not have that headache.
I'm still bitter.
I see that, or I hear that and see it. But we're going to move past because there are so many magical doors to come forward in your life at some point. I know it, I feel it, and I know you, and you deserve it. So
now, okay, so the house that the house that I put the ADU, me and my ex-husband, we came to an agreement that I would keep these rental properties, one with the good tenant and one with the bad tenant. Well, I had to continue to pay the mortgage on the bad tenant. So guys, don't forget, they're living there, they're not paying. I had an expense every month of about $2,500 I hadn't had before. So all you landlords out there that are having to deal with your mortgage and people that aren't paying, oh my gosh, I feel for you. If you're thinking of selling it, I totally get it. Call me, 1-800-440-7566, and let's get that thing off your hands, because it wasn't just the money. I could have stuck it out probably, but it was more of the headache. It was so much, it was stressing me out and making me so mad that I just wanted it off my plate. So prices are high right now. The market's,
Right. It's a great time to sell.
But so by the time I, had gotten it sold, I had already lost about $25,000 just in paying the stuff for them and the loss of cash flow every month from them paying. So anyway, our agreement was that I would keep these 2 properties and deal with whatever had to be dealt with, and he would keep the house with the ADU with all the equity and all that. So that was the deal. And but I'm not bitter about that either.
Anyway, let's keep going. So, listen. Now you look out and you see the water.
I do. There's a little boat there right now.
Right? I'd like to be on that boat. So, well, maybe not. I have motion sickness. But the market right now is very interesting. It's a great time to buy and sell. Interest rates are really low.
Yes. So, hence, we bring into the picture the sexy singles pad. So I decided to go looking for a property. I'm a realtor. I can't be renting. This is ridiculous, right? So it makes sense sometimes, especially when you're in the middle of a divorce and stuff. But I decided to start looking for a house. I'm out here far away from where my kids go to school and everything. And while COVID was happening, that was fine because it was no traffic. But now it's an hour and 15 minutes for me to get to my office. And when the kids go back to school, in August, it's going to be tough. So anywho, I found a property. I've been in escrow since December 28th.
Wait, of 2020.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and we're now in July.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy. I feel like that's part 3. I mean, I don't know. Okay, I don't know that you want to go through because we don't like to be in depressing land. So,
but you know what? This is how it is, you guys. You want to go out there, you want to be in this game, like, you better have some thick skin because it's not like just la-di-da-di-da. Like, this is not for punks. You know, if you want to be a realtor, if you're out there thinking you want to join a team or you want to go out there and sell some houses, well, guess what? It's not easy. You want to be an investor? Guess what? It's not easy. And nothing that is easy ever is really that fruitful, right? Like, no risk, no reward. If we're not out here trying and working hard and taking these risks and doing this stuff, like, nothing's gonna come from it. So, you know, so I'm down. I'm here to take the stuff. And I'll tell you, like, that property appraised about $64,000. So I got an appraisal on it the other day. From when I'm in escrow on until now, that thing appraised for $64,000 more now because the prices have gone up.
Wow.
So, I mean, the good part is I'm walking in with equity, but, you know, it's a new construction. It's been built by some developers that, you know, they developed these 3 properties, and it's not like a big giant
Community.
Yeah. It's not like one of the bigger builders that know how to do all this stuff.
What's happening?
There's a phone call coming in, and I'm wondering if it's stopping the video, but it's not.
Okay.
I forgot to put do not disturb, but that's the handyman who's at one of my other properties. So anyways, almost done anyway, so I'll come back. There's some things that have happened. Like the property had one of the developers, one of the sellers died. Their name was different on title than it was on the trust. And so, you know, there was impossible to bring them back from the dead to go get the stuff notarized to fix the name. So all that had to be fixed to get a clear title, to get the APN numbers. The city's slow because of COVID. Like, it's just been like one thing after another. And
Perfect storm.
It's been a perfect storm, yeah. I'm praying that we will close soon, but because every time I see somebody that I know that knows I'm buying this house, like, what's up with your house? Like, we haven't got your house yet. And I'm just like, oh, don't talk about it. So we'll see.
Come.
In the meantime, like I said, you know, a lot of people have a lot bigger problems. So I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to be patient and see what happens.
It'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what time it is? We did this today.
What time is it?
It's time to wrap it up.
Already?
Yeah.
Maybe I do like talking about myself.
See? You didn't even realize that we're done. It's time to go.
Oh my God.
It's Sunday morning and let's go enjoy the day.
Oh, Sunday morning.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you go enjoy your day. I hope you tune in next Sunday at 8 a.m. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. That's CYRENE Properties. Do the jingle, Kam.
No, that's a bad idea.
Come on.
I'm not a great singer.
Okay.
If I was, I wouldn't be a producer.
CYRENE.
They're going to hear it when it ends.
The only one to... Oh, okay. So you're going to hear it and it gets stuck in my head. So give us a call if you have questions. 1-800-440-7566. If you want to join a team, if you need a great agent, if you just want to talk, give me a ring and make it a great day.